Purchase requests can be viewed as the building blocks of purchase orders. If a user wants to requisition a part, tool, or piece of equipment, it's only a 10-second process to submit a request for it. Then, requests that are approved can be compiled into their respective purchase orders that are then sent to the supplier. Purchase requests can be created in two ways: manually by the user, or automatically generated by the system whenever the minimum stock is breached, though this has to be configured ahead of time. From there, the requests can be processed directly into purchase orders, or if the price of the item is unknown, you can submit a request for quote to the parts vendor. To learn about the second option, watch the RFQ video in the purchasing section of our video page. There are 4 places where you can manually create a purchase request. The easiest is from the dashboard. In each case though, the form is identical and works the same way. You select the item you want to buy more of, or if the item doesn't yet exist in the CMMS, you can describe it with the second checkbox. There's a few more optional fields you can fill in here: whether or not production is being held up, any associated work orders or impacted assets. You can also indicate a due date and associated charge departments or an account. Depending on your setup, these details might be valuable to the person processing the request. They are also retrievable at a later date by running reports. When I open up any part, the button at the top here gives me the option to create a purchase request. I can also do this from inside a work order. If I want to view any past requests that I've submitted, I can go to the dashboard and check My Purchase Requests. You can also set up your parts to generate purchase requests automatically when their stock is running low. Let's do this for the programmable relay. Right now, we have 5 of these in the Toronto storeroom. In order to have a purchase request generate automatically for this part, we need to set up 2 things. The first is I need to set the minimum allowed stock limit. When this is breached, the part is then flagged as being understocked. The second thing I need to do is attach a business to the part. Purchase requests generated from a low stock occurrence always need to be associated with a business. I'll add Granger to the part. Notice that I'm leaving the part number blank. We'll address that later. Now, whenever I go below the minimum quantity for this part, a purchase request will automatically be generated. To show you how this works, I'll consume 2 of the programmable relay during a work order, which will put it below its minimum quantity and trigger a purchase request. The last place I can manually create a purchase request is from the purchase planning board, which is really just a list of all the purchase requests in the system, organized by which supplier each request is associated with. The purchase planning board is where management can prioritize which items to actually purchase. However, before I can add any of these requests to a purchase order, I need to associate them with a supplier. You'll notice that the programmable relay is already associated with Granger, since that's the business I attached to it. Air filters don't have a supplier yet, so I'll add one now. What's interesting is that by selecting a supplier for the air filters request, it automatically populates this selection for the part. Let's go back to air filters in my parts menu and check out the business tab. See, it's already been populated. Now, the next time a purchase request is created for the air filters, Ericsson will be attached by default. In the case where I have multiple businesses on any one part, I just select Preferred Vendor to ensure that is the business the purchase requests on this part are associated with. The same backfilling of data also applies to the part number. Here, I'll add a part number for the programmable relay. Remember that we left it blank. And when I go back to the relay in my parts menu, I can see the same number added to it for Granger. Next time, I won't need to manually add the part number to the request. It will instead populate on its own. Purchase requests can go in a number of directions. First, I can delete any request that should be rejected. If I need to obtain a price for the item, I can create an RFQ on the fly. Any related RFQs will be linked to on the same line. I can see the status of the RFQ, and I can drill down and see any of the details. Once the RFQ has come back, I can populate the price details on the line item. When I finally decide to purchase the items, I can either create a new purchase order or attach the request to an existing PO for that supplier, if any exist. For the AAA batteries, I already have 2 purchase orders open for Sanyo, so I can choose which of these POs I want to attach the batteries to. My purchase request for the relay, however, is under Granger, which doesn't have any open POs. My only option is to create a brand new one. From here, I'll process the purchase order. Watch the video on this to learn how to do the next steps.